Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at BNB. This was requested in the comments section, and I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. I also want to mention the two donation links down below in the description. If you want to support Ukraine, feel free to donate to the Ukrainian refugees or to Ukraine's military. Help us win the war against the Russian tyranny. Thank you all for donating, and let's go straight into the video. So jumping into the daily chart right now, we are on BNB against USDT. So as you can see, we are dumping very hard on pretty much the majority of our altcoins as Bitcoin is dropping, and that drags the altcoins along with it. So now this is going to be our swing high of the Fib retracement, and this is going to be the swing low. Okay, so you can use these if you want to follow along on your chart. If I go to my Fibonacci settings, then you can just copy the settings. I have the Fib set to log scale. I also have it in reverse. Okay, so that's really important. And also the chart should be in log scale as well. So we are pretty overextended from the 20 EMA. So as always, once that happens, there is always a chance you can come back and back test it as resistance, as we haven't done that since May 5th. And from where we are right now, that backtest would be a 20% trade. So if you want to potentially buy right now and sell at the 20 EMA retest, that is 20% right now. But keep in mind, the 20 EMA does move down to the price. The price brings down, so the EMA follow the prices, right? Or the EMAs follow the price. So the lower the price, the lower the EMAs go. And as you can see, we have been hitting our head on the 20 EMA for a couple of times. So you have a bounce over here and you have a bounce over here. So that has happened twice, right, before we entered this cascade of selling. And potentially once you come back up, you're going to get hit by the 20 EMA once again, and you're going to come back down. So now for some of the potential support levels that we have, and obviously we got the bearish cross here, April 24th. So now looking at some of the targets that we have. So we have the 1.272, 1.414, and the 1.618 extension levels. And if you bring out all of the, I'm just going to bring out the price tags. So $262, $235, $202 are your support levels. And you actually had this long wick. So anywhere below $260, this was bought up really quick, because you can see you have this long wick to the downside, and people bought up BNB pretty quickly. And so basically the target that we have after losing the first fib level here, which is what you've done over here, and you keep in mind you haven't had a back test of resistance, so potentially you can run into the first fib level here, right, and get rejected back down. But you should keep in mind that once you lose the first fib level, you should start targeting the 1.618. So that is your technical target. I do this in all my videos. I use the Fib retracements. I use the 1.618. I use the golden ratio here. But right now, the 1.618 is your target. Okay, so $202.50 basically. Just set it up a bit higher than the Fib level itself. Set some buy limit orders. Once the price wicks down just like it did over here, you're going to get filled, and instantly you're going to be up, because these wicks happen really quick. And from the bottom of this wick, you were up 41.5% potentially, all the way up to this week, up to this wick of the green candle that we had yesterday. Now moving a bit lower than that, let me just zoom out just a little bit. So you can see that you have a very strong move over here, and you have a lot of over here. You have obviously the strong move that happened last year, but you can see you have a lot of trading action over here, right? So once you come back down here, there is some support to hold you, because you do have these lows over here from the summer of last year. So potentially you're just gonna be stuck here for a while, and you're gonna consolidate and continue on from here and never come back to those prices. But what I do want to warn you about is that if you start falling, there's really nothing to support you, because you don't have any support previously, right? You were just flying up in a very strong impulsive move, quite unhealthy, to be honest with you. But if you lose all these support levels and you're going to start coming back down, you're going to fly down pretty quick unless there are a lot of buy limit orders here. And I'm sure there are, but I'm just telling you technically, if you start losing your last buy zone, which is going to be in a second, I'm going to show you in a second. So your last buy zone is from $148 to $118 or $120 roughly, because that's where you have your last kind of little trading range over here, right? Little bull a bull pennant over here basically you had, and you broke out from there to the upside. And if you land in here and you consolidate a bit, that's all good. But if you don't do that and you lose that as support, you can potentially start coming back all the way down. Let's see. So potentially there, $72, because that's where we have our last resistance. Okay, because here, as you can see, that's where you ran into resistance before moving back up. So $77. Below that, you have $51.50, and below that, you have $46. But I don't know if we're gonna get to those levels. For now, we can't expect that, right? I would expect, if Bitcoin continues dropping to 25K, I would expect a bounce from this buy zone that I gave you, and that is exactly where the second fib level is, where the 2.272 is, and where the 2.414 is. So all the way down to $112.50, you're still good to buy, BNB, because you're still going to be in this support range over here. Lower than that, if you keep falling, just dollar cost average your way through. Don't buy all in at one price. You can always go lower. So that's just kind of what I think that we have at our plate. And obviously, if we start losing the July bottom here, that would be quite negative. But we'll see if that happens. BNB is getting bought up pretty quickly. Now let's jump into the daily RSI. Obviously, you got into the oversold here. So basically, anywhere below the purple box is oversold. And oversold means the asset has been oversold. There's so much selling pressure that it is going to start recovering relatively soon, and people are going to notice. People are going to start buying up. And once you see it come down below the index of 30, that is the best time to be buying, because as you can see, the last time it was in here, you had a move in a couple of months. From the end of January all the way to the end of March, you were almost got overbought there. And from here, end of May last year to end of August, you were pretty much in the overbought. Okay, so this is a very, very good opportunity to get into BNB at the moment. Now, I want to move to the Binance chart for more oscillators. Okay, moving into the weekly chart here. So basically, you have this resistance zone above you at, let me just give you the price for that. So basically, $670 down to $210 is basically the range that we've been in the last year, right? More than a year now. And you haven't gone above it, you haven't gone below it, right? And now you're on the cusp of breaking the support trend line here at $210. Why is this a support trend line? Because you have some support there, and you've bounced from that once again in May of last year, and you had a wick almost going as low as $210 later in June. So I do want to bring out the 150 EMA, which is the orange line, and the 200 EMA, which is the purple moving average over here. So these represent support trend lines, and on the weekly chart, we haven't touched them yet because we just recently got the 200 EMA, right, back in August of last year. And all I'm saying is that have them on your chart and potentially set some buy limit orders off of those, because if you had the 150 EMA out, you would have been able to see the price that it was at, and you could have set a buy limit order, and you would have been filled by this point. So the 200 EMA currently is sitting at $185. So that's a very, very good place to put some buy limit orders. Obviously, setting some at $210 would be smart as well. And keep in mind the bearish cross, the potential incoming bearish cross on the weekly chart, where the 20 crosses below the 55 could be your indicator of the bear market for BNB. And if that happens, we're probably going to be bouncing off the 200 EMA, if not going lower. But like I said, if you start losing these EMAs and this 210 support line, you don't really have any support here. As you can see, this was a strong move, so you can potentially start free falling unless people just start entering and buying off some BNB and you know, just buying it from the markets, because you don't have any support, right? I think I made myself clear in that regard. Now, jumping into the weekly stochastic RSI, let's just see what's going on over here. And we are entering the oversold. So I would just wait a little, right? If you want a dollar cost average in right now, I would wait potentially, or maybe just put 25% now and see what happens. Because I do think we're going to go lower in this market. I don't think Bitcoin is going to drop to $20,000 per se, but I do think we're going to go lower, and I do think the altcoins will suffer as they always do. So you are going to have a better opportunity or a better entry for BNB. So potentially wait until the stochastic bottoms out here, and then you get the bullish cross, right? And you potentially just buy when you're in this zone here, okay? Once you get the bullish cross, just like you did here, that is potentially your confirmation of the uptrend, because usually, more often than not, once you get the cross, you're going to continue in the trend. Once you get a cross, you continue in the trend, right? So that's regarding the stochastic, and the RSI is actually relatively low. Let's see if we have any support trend lines here on the RSI. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, and that's the way I'm going to set it up. Okay, so this is your support zone for BNB on the weekly chart. Each time you were in this zone, you had a strong move to the upside. So back in December of 2018, back in September of 2019, December 2019, March 2020, and we haven't been that low ever since. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind, and look out for that on your charts. Obviously, bearish cross on the weekly MACD, December 13th. So since then, you could have been waiting for this pullback just because you got your confirmation of the downtrend. But that is pretty much it, guys. Don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you for watching. Let me know if I missed out anything on the charts. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. I do technical analysis and some posts over there. And I also have a Patreon where you can get more exclusive content. By my buy alerts, sell alerts, low cap gems. You can get technical analysis requests, video requests, low cap gem calls. In fact, there is a low cap gem incoming on Patreon tonight, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.